finally getting back into the Corvette. So we had a little issue with the reluctor ring I put on. It had too much run out. What I mean by run out is it just wobbled when I would spin it in the motor. Like I got new bearings in the motor, started putting the crank in, and I just wanted to check and make sure it was straight, and it wasn't. I'm glad I checked it. So actually what I did was I went ahead and ordered a billet one piece, get rid of the two piece. I'm not sure if it was inconsistent heat, making it warp, or if it got damaged in shipping. At this point, I don't care. I went ahead and spent $150 on a nice billet piece that I can just, I'm probably gonna put in like a little toaster oven I got around the shop here, and we'll get it to like 350, 400 degrees and just try to drop it on, because with the other one, it went on nice, but something obviously happened because the reluctor ring would come. I'll show you what I mean. So looking at it right here, you can see how close it is. You might not be able to pick up, but right there, it's like almost touching. And it's only in like a section about this wide that is really close that way. Like almost like the ring is warped. Like right there is really close. And then it starts to get a pretty good gap there. But looking through the actual crank sensor hole, you can see it's like that, like wobbling. So that could cause misfire issues and stuff I don't want to deal with. So let's show you what I got for it. So this is the piece I got for it, Howard's cam part. I mean, there's a bunch of different ones. I just went with this one because I could have it the quickest, because this project is starting to get out of hand. But it's labeled this side out. It's a really, really nice piece, thick. So I don't think I'm gonna have any issues just this thing dropping right on. But like I said, I'm gonna try to heat this up in a little oven and use the tool to put this one on. So I think that's what we're gonna do now. All right, let's get to cooking. All right, now we're back in business. We have a consistent gap now. No worries. Almost messed up. I had to pull the ring back off because I forgot to put this side out back. I had it forward. Easy mistake when you're trying to be in a hurry, because metal cools pretty quick. So yeah, we're good now. Now I can get this motor back together. As you can see, bottom end is together, cam is in, and we got to talk about the cam. All right, so the cam we have decided to go with is a Texas Speed LS3 NA cam. It's their Bald Eagle series cam. My buddy Dave Wright that runs Shift Fast Motorsports, he actually sponsored me and gave me this cam kit, and he's gonna be tuning the car, so I'm happy to say that they're on board for this year. But he's made a lot of good power with these cams. He's tried a bunch of different combinations, and this one works really well. Has good low end torque and stuff, which is what we need for drifting. So yeah, big shout out to Shift Fast for pretty much coming on board with me. So if you could, go over and give them a like on Instagram and whatnot. So I'm super stoked for that. We got that installed. I got my timing chain here, and I got my 1X cam gear we're gonna be putting on. So we got all that done. Bottom end is done. I did get these in the other day too. These are my motor mounts I'm gonna be using. These are super, super solid. I've never seen a lock nut like this. It's like, it ain't got the plastic, it's actually got a metal lock nut. Super, super nice motor mounts. I did not want to go solid, so these are pretty much the best ones. I'm probably gonna be getting their transmission mount too. So we got that. We got our Texas Speed lifters, sponsored by Shift Fast Motorsports. But you've seen most of this other stuff. I went and got a new master cylinder too, because that one's got some buildup inside the reservoir, and I didn't want to deal with that. That thing's stock, 200,000 miles. And as you can see, we have an LS3 throttle body, gold blade. They don't really work with the factory computer in these cars, but I'm gonna try my best to make it work. So I've been doing some testing with it. I gotta go in HB tuners, and pretty much, if I get it working, I'll do a video on it, because these cars doing LS3 swaps and trying to make that work, it's kind of a nightmare. You can use the LS2, but I can't really find one that's not $600. So we're gonna try to make one of these work. I haven't put out a video here in a few weeks, but the past weekend I went to Gastonia, which is about 45 minutes away from here, and my buddy Zach Calvin come up from Florida, and he let me drift his Corvette, and that thing rips. Like, it made I think 450 horsepower on the dyno, and the car actually had power steering, which my car hasn't really had power steering since I got it. So, you know, I've just learned to drive it, and, you know, I love it. But after driving his car, being able to just flick the wheel so easily, I went ahead and took the choice to take my stuff and send it to turn one and get that stuff done. So I had a good time last weekend drifting with him, and it gave me motivation to just like really get this done. So we're on it. We're gonna get this thing knocked out. So I guess first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this thing jacked up, get the rack out. I really didn't want to do this until I had it on a lift, but man, we're under time limits here, so we're gonna get this thing done. Yeah, let's get it jacked up. And Tick Performance did give me the other bearing I needed for that, so we're gonna get the torque tube knocked out and get that back together. Like, I could probably get this car put together this weekend, like back together and just almost done. We still gotta contend to our radiator situation. I did get a Rogue Fab pipe bender, or tubing bender. My buddy Cricket from Drift HQ, he actually told me that's the one to get. So we're gonna be bending up our own little lower radiator support. And actually, if you haven't been following along the Drift HQ channel, they're doing a C4 Corvette right now. And I was watching how Cricket mounted the radiator, and it looks sick. So I think I'm gonna go the route he went. Basically what he did was, instead of using any kind of lower, the C4 is kind of weird. But what he done was see, C4's got a different mount for the hood. This is where my hood goes. But I think what I'm gonna do, what he done was he took a piece of flat plate and he had it where it come around and bent down, but it come at the angle. As you can see, the dirt mark where the radiator, that's the angle the radiator sits at. So what he done was took a piece of plate metal and had it where it bolted up, bent at the curve and went down, but gave you somewhere to bolt your radiator to the flat plate. That way you just drop the whole assembly in as one and bolt it in. So I'm gonna be doing something like that, but I do wanna bend a bar to come down, back around it up, to maybe have like a jack point or just protection for the radiator in case we hit something. Because C5s and C6s, you tear the radiator support absolutely up in this car. When I got the car, it was like that, and I just left it alone because it worked. The car never run hot. So we still gotta do a radiator and whatnot, but she's coming along. And another one of my buddies actually sponsored me too. Burnout Garage. It's one of my really good friends, Scott. He pretty much jumped on board with me too, and he asked me what I needed, and I told him I needed some suspension parts. So he said send him a list and he'll get it coming. So they just showed up. So what we have here is a box full of good FDF parts. So pretty much I wanted to be able to adjust camber in the rear. We got the new upper arms, on car adjustability. I got eccentric lockout bolts. I have front tie rod, or the rear tie rod kit, lowers for the front. I mean, we have a setup. So I've been holding off on doing anything to the car in this bay because I want to be on a lift. But for time purposes, you know, my shop's really busy, so it's hard for me to get my car on a lift. I can't just put customers' cars out of the way to do stuff. So I think I'm just go ahead and do all the control arms and stuff over here, get that stuff knocked out. Because honestly, it's just lowers. I've already got the mini kit installed. I've been drifting on it all year. I mean, that's a pretty good amount of angle from a small, cheap kit. Kit has done flawless for me all year long. But it is time for lowers. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah. I've been cutting into my control arm. And in earlier video, I talked about moving my brake hose, my hard line and everything. Well, I'm getting rid of the hard line because we got the finish lines kit. But where it comes out and hooks up right here, I'm gonna do it like the C6 and put it over here where it comes in the middle of the control arm. Be a lot smarter and a little better on the line. let's get this thing took apart. So when I took the wheel off, I could get a little more angle in the car. So that just tells me, you know, when I put the kit on and put it on the max setting, I knew it was close. You can see where my wheel's been rubbing. After I took and unbolted the wheel, I was able to turn it just a little bit more. So putting these new lowers on are gonna give me even more angle. So I'm super stoked for that. You can see how close everything is to that factory lower. Factory lower is big and bulgy. So I think what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave my tie rod ends attached, and I'm just gonna undo the inners and just let them hang, because I might end up having to make something to, I don't know, I'm so confused. I need to be able to get the car on a lift, but I may just end up just doing everything over here, put the motor, everything in, torque tube. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take this boot off, already cut the strap. We'll go ahead and, I got new boots for it. Just go ahead and get the outer off and go from there. Get the rack out. Alrighty, rack is out. So what I'm gonna be doing now is I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing, clean it up good before I send it in. Because if you got somebody doing like a rebuild, if you wanna speed up the process, they will be very happy if you clean it for them. So I'm gonna get this mess cleaned up and get it boxed up in a box I have right there and send it off. All right, so we got the rack all nice and clean. So they'll have something nice to work with when they rebuild it. So now I'm gonna pop the power steering pump off, get it cleaned, and get it in this box. All right, so got my pump cleaned up, got it capped, ready to ship. Thing is, you have to start with a factory genuine part, no remanufactured or aftermarket. So this is a Delphi steering. So this is a factory pump to come on the car, because they put parts that fit just this housing. Aftermarket housings are milled different, and they have to start with one of these to do their level 2 build. So got the rack in a box. Gonna get it wrapped up, get it shipped off, and hope we get it back soon. But everything's been cleaned, so they're gonna have a good start. So we're gonna, I've been saving stuff, so I knew this day was coming. Get it wrapped up nice and tight.